The Ravens are headed to the postseason. Welcome into Ravens Rundown by Chad Sports. Tyler Jones here with you with a look back at Baltimore's dominating 23-7 win over the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday Night Football as Baltimore clinched a spot in the postseason. It did cost a lot to get there with some notable injuries we'll get to coming up in just a moment, including Keaton Mitchell. Let's go over the numbers here for you of what we just saw from Baltimore tonight. Lamar Jackson had a very solid night, throwing for 171 yards, had one touchdown through the air, did throw an interception, one bad pass, his really only mistake of the whole night. 97 yards on the ground for Lamar as well. Lamar was just in complete control, command of this offense. Keaton Mitchell was doing his thing. 9 carries and 73 yards, but suffered a very unfortunate injury. We'll have more on that here in just a second. And then the receiving game. Man, there was a big question about this Ravens team, what they would look like without Mark Andrews, how Isaiah Likely and company would step up into the fold for Baltimore when he went down. And Isaiah Likely just stood up like no one else with 5 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He has been on a tear the last few games, really just doing an incredible job, and tonight led the team in receiving. Also had a decent night from Rashod Bateman as well. 3 catches, 39 yards. First time we've called his name a ton, really, in a while. So good all-around win. The defense, and this could have been a shutout based on the way they played. I mean, the defense looked like a championship caliber defense. Now to the injury news. Let's start with Keaton Mitchell. Suffered a scary knee injury, a non-contact injury, ultimately did not return to this game. We found out moments ago from Ravens head coach John Harbaugh that the injury is believed to be season-ending with that knee injury that Mitchell is likely done. The undrafted free agent out of East Carolina was awesome this season. Tonight, me and Smitty were talking about it on the watch party. He did an incredible job just with his vision, following blockers, and doing what you're supposed to do. A very smart, high football IQ football player. Unfortunate for him as the Ravens lose Mitchell here in the second running back that they've lost this season. J.K. Dobbins, they lost week 1. Now, where the Ravens go from here? John Harbaugh said in the postgame news conference, they are expected to sign Melvin Gordon to the 53-man roster. Now, we'll see if that completely rules out them bringing in another running back or not, but at least in the short term, in the interim, this is what the Ravens are going to do at that position. More injury news that we'll get to, and a complete recap of this performance from Baltimore in just a moment. But first, the Ravens dominate. They're going to the playoffs. They're 11-3. What is your one-word reaction to what we just witnessed from the Baltimore Ravens tonight? My one word is dominate. This was an ass-kicking that we saw from the Baltimore Ravens this evening. Give me your one-word reaction. Let us know in the comment section below. Folks, we had a great time on our watch party here on the channel. And I got to tell you, we got some exciting stuff ahead as now we know this Ravens team is going to the postseason. We are going to be live for much of the rest of the regular season on the channel. We'll be live for the entire playoffs for your Baltimore Ravens. If you are a diehard Ravens fan, this is the channel for you. No better way to celebrate that Ravens win than subbing for Ravens dubs. Subscribe now for free for the latest happenings in your favorite team. We got you covered. Let's get to 15,000 subscribers. We got to 14,000 this week. We're on to 15. Sub for dubs right now here on Ravens Rundown. Lamar, I got to say, I liked what I saw from Lamar Jackson tonight. The stats don't tell the whole story. The stats say he played a solid game, but really there was never a point where I had doubts about Lamar's ability of leading this offense. Just in complete control, making some just dramatic throws that he had no business completing at times in this game, throwing off his back foot, sidearm, some crazy stuff that we usually talk about Patrick Mahomes. That was Lamar Jackson tonight. He was awesome, and he did it on the ground as well. Good balance there. I loved what I saw from my quarterback tonight. Lamar Jackson was spectacular. And getting guys involved, to feel as comfortable as he did with Isaiah Likely, for Likely to look that good, Rashod Bateman was solid. Charlie Kolar even had a catch in there. We've been saying that the Ravens needed to get Charlie Kolar involved. They did so. He had one catch for 15 yards. I think that was more than just one winky-dink catch here. I think we're going to see more to come from Charlie Kolar in the coming weeks. Keaton Mitchell also had a couple catches for 15 yards. OBJ, one catch, 14 yards. But like to see Rashod Bateman get involved the way he did with this Ravens team. Who was the MVP for Baltimore tonight? You going with Lamar? You going with Keaton Mitchell? You going with somebody on the defense? Weigh in that comment section. Tell me who you believe was the MVP for the Baltimore Ravens this evening. Weigh in. Tell us what you think. Tonight's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a $100 deposit match on your first entry when you use the promo code CLNS. It's real simple. You pick two or more players, any given category, more or less, and you can choose from fantasy points to passing yards, receiving yards, pass completions, mix and match different sports, the NFL, college football, the NBA, and more. I went with Lamar to have more than 219.5 passing yards tonight. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But Michael Penix Jr. is still going to get me more than 312.2 passing yards when the Washington Huskies take on the Texas Longhorns in the college football playoff semifinal. You can turn $20 into $60 just like that with PrizePicks. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. Play along with us on PrizePicks, proud partner of Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Glad to have them on board here on the channel. Now, the offensive statistics here. 396 yards of total offense. Rushing was incredible. The Jags struggled to stop the run all night long. We told you going into the pregame that this Ravens team tonight was going to really focus on the downfield passing game, that they were going to expose the weakness that was the Jags secondary. They passed it as much as they needed to. They could have, if the Ravens wanted to, could have thrown for 300 yards tonight. They didn't need to because the run game was going that good. Just one mistake. They dominated the time of possession. The Ravens have led the league in time of possession for the entirety of the season, pretty much. They were awesome. How about the defense here? Now, the defense, I got to say, was awesome with what they did tonight, forcing the two turnovers that they did. Arthur Maulet had one. Patrick Queen had another, holding this Jags offense to 75 total rush yards. Trevor Lawrence, he did not look like the franchise quarterback that he is supposedly made out to be, right? The former number one overall pick and everything. Trevor Lawrence just looked like another guy tonight. That's how good this Ravens defense is, of bringing him back down to earth with just an average to below average night for Trevor Lawrence with 264 yards passing, a touchdown, and then he had those two fumbles that he lost. It was just not Trevor's night, and that's a credit to the Ravens defense for coming up big, delivering what they needed to do. I was very impressed with what we saw from this Ravens defense against a high-powered Jags attack. I mean, you had one big play to Jamal Agnew that the Jags had, receiving-wise, led to a touchdown. But other than that, you contained this Jags offense for the most part throughout the evening here. A couple other injury notes besides just Keaton Mitchell I want to get to here. Ronnie Stanley, he is in concussion protocol. And Stanley wasn't quite right throughout much of the night tonight. I'll be very curious what his status is going forward and what his role looks like for Baltimore, because the coaching staff on the sideline before he went into concussion protocol was not too happy with the way that Ronnie Stanley was playing. Jalyn Armour-Davis went into concussion protocol as well. Marcus Williams with a groin injury. He is day-to-day at this point. So, all in all, the Ravens with 4 injuries tonight when you factor in the Keaton Mitchell equation as well for this team, who's now out for the year, it appears, according to John Harbaugh. Now, we know this team's in the postseason. We know this team is on track to win the division, in pace to come up with the number 1 seed in the AFC. And now the million-dollar question becomes playoff time. Can this team now do what it takes to take that next step and win those playoff games, to play championship football when it matters and win the AFC? Will they do it? Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Thanks for joining us here on Ravens Rundown. For daily Ravens coverage, subscribe now for free. We'll have you covered here on the channel as the run to the playoffs is on right here on Ravens Rundown. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.